We've all heard the story of the lottery winner. They suddenly acquired this massive amount of wealth, but they spent it all carelessly on unnecessary things, and as a result, they started attracting the wrong kind of people, and eventually they lost everything, and at the end, they are miserable and unhappy with themselves. This story shows us that the problem is not how much money you have. The problem is knowing how to spend your money wisely. So in this video today, we're going to talk about how to use money not just for material gains, but in a way that gives us genuine happiness and fulfillment. さやかさん、以前から動画を拝聴しており、さやかさんの生き方や考え方にとても同感する部分ばかりであると同時に尊敬しております。今回の動画も大変素晴らしく3回見返しました。ありがとうございます。私も特殊なパフォーマンスをしており、アーティストとして仕事をしているため、日々の、自分との向き合い方や、今後の考え方に大変参考になるものばかりでした。そこでぜひお聞きしたいのですが、自分の人生を豊かにし幸せにするお金の使い方についてのご意見やお話をさやかさんの視点から聞かせていただきたいです。お金を十分に稼げるようになった今、お金の勉強をする必要があると感じ始めました。お金をどのように投資して回していくかなど、いろいろと考えています。日々お忙しい中だと思いますので、お時間あるタイミングで投稿していただければ大変嬉しいです。よろしくお願いします。So, I think from my experience, I've seen both sides of it. So on one hand, in my career as a ballet dancer, I saw broke but happy artists who couldn't even afford kitchen paper, but they were really happy. And on the other hand, I currently interact on a daily basis with wealthy private donors and also a lot of company CEOs through my job as a sponsoring and fundraising manager in a European theater. So in a weird way, I've seen both ends of the spectrum. And I think this is a really interesting topic because money is not everything, but it's obviously really important to do stuff, right? So I think this gives us a great opportunity to talk a little bit about money today. So we're first going to start out by discussing some of the scientific research that we know about money and its correlation to happiness. Then we're going to talk about how to spend money, where we should spend generously on, and where we should be more conservative. And then in part 2 of this video, we'll explore step-by-step pragmatic rules that you should adopt so that you can live a comfortable life. And the key word, as I said just right now, is comfortably. This is not a video about how to get rich quicker. This is not a video about how to impress other people with your wealth or become a billionaire only to have all sorts of different problems. This is a video about how money can help you live more comfortably and live a happier life. So my hope is that this information will contribute to your happiness and help you cultivate just a very healthy relationship with money too. All right, so first of all, let's discuss how important money is. So research indicates that money has a positive correlation with happiness, but only up until a certain income. So in 2010, 2 Nobel Prize economists published a study that found that people generally feel happier as they earn more money, but only up until an annual income of around $75,000. Having more money makes a bigger difference to your well-being when you have lower income. But once you reach this income, having a lot more money, like being a billionaire, doesn't necessarily make you much happier. And why is that? It's because money is important in providing for one's basic needs and, ensuring a comfortable lifestyle. It gives you access to education, healthcare, and all sorts of other opportunities. But after a certain point, there are other things in life that are just equally important, if not even more important than money, like integrity and character, the ability to be honest and have, strong moral principles, the ability to produce original thoughts and opinions, like the ability to be skeptical and make informed decisions, right? Health is obviously important too, both physical and mental, and meaningful relationships are really important too. And this is why money is important, but after a certain point, it is just one component of a well-rounded and meaningful life. But so knowing all of this, how can we cultivate a healthy relationship with money? This brings me to my next topic, how to use money for happiness. All right, for this section, I'm going to be sharing with you what you should be spending money on based on my own experiences and research articles. So there's this very interesting research article called "If Money Doesn't Make You Happy, Then You Probably Aren't Spending It Right." So we'll be basing some of the principles according to this research article. And if you have any more ideas on how to spend money for happiness, please comment down below. All right, let's go. Principle 1. Spend money on experiences. So when I was growing up, I was always told to spend money on things that you cannot see. So rather than buying an expensive car, I was told to spend money on things like experiences, like travel, and also education, because this will help me in the future and also give me lasting joy. And it seems that various research supports this notion because it suggests that people are often happier when they spend their money on experiences rather than on stuff. And from a neurological standpoint as well, memories associated with experiences tend to be more valuable and also enduring, long-lasting than short-term pleasure from buying like tangible stuff. So that means the next time you have a bad day, do not buy yourself something nice, but rather buy yourself an experience. Principle 2, spend money on education. So similar to principle 1, it is really important to spend money on things like education. It is worth it, trust me. Like, I can say for sure that I am the person who I am today because of my own education. By spending money on learning opportunities, you can, not only enhance your knowledge and also skills, but you can also open up doors for new possibilities and also, financial success in the long run. One tip from me, because I know that there are some people out there who don't like to study constantly. If you do not like studying, that's completely fine. But the one thing you must absolutely know in life is compounding interest. If you don't know what that is, this is worth educating yourself about it. I'm serious. Basically, compounding interest can be great for accumulating wealth if you're using it properly, but if you make one mistake with it, it can really quickly get out of control and bury you in debt for the rest of your life. So really, please be careful. As Einstein said, compounding interest is the 8th wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. So, if you don't like studying, that's absolutely fine, but I don't want any of you to be in like this debt trap. So please, if you don't like studying, spend money to learn and educate yourself about compounding interest at least. Principle 3. Spend money on investments that will multiply the money. So whether you are an artist or a teacher or any other profession, never ever rely on one source of income because it makes you that much vulnerable. I personally think that there is no excuse. This is not something reserved for the super rich. I think the minute you earn $1, you should be using this first income to build a second income and try to create multiple income streams to avoid financial risks. A good example is, I know a lot of dancers rely on just one income through dancing. But this is super risky because one day you could be having rehearsal and then injure yourself, and then that could be the end of your career, and then you'll have nothing. I mean, it's really hard to transition from, a profession like dance into something else if you don't have education and like work experience, right? Don't ever put yourself in such a position. Like we talked before, spend money on education, develop a second or even third skill and capitalize on it. Not so that you can be rich and flaunt your wealth to other people, but so that you can avoid vulnerable situations and gain freedom and also eventually just do what you truly love. Principle 4. Spend money to buy back time. So it goes without saying that time is finite and a precious resource. And at the same time, it goes without saying that we all have certain things that we excel at and things that we aren't really good at, right? So if you can spend money and outsource certain tasks that you're not really good at by hiring professionals, by all means do it. Don't try to do everything yourself. Leave some things up to professionals. It will save you a lot of time and also free up time so that you can focus on more meaningful things and activities. Like for example, if my electricity breaks down like one day, I'm not going to try to fix it myself because I have no clue about electricity. I'm going to call a professional. Time is money, so use it wisely. Principle 5, spend money on yourself, not your ego. So the next time you have the urge to buy something, think, is this me who wants to buy this, or is it my ego? Distinguishing between genuine personal desires and ego-driven impulses is really important for making spending decisions. So don't buy things if it's just to show things off, like the typical stuff like expensive cars, expensive houses, expensive bags, whatever. But do spend money if it means that will bring you comfort and also happiness. So like for example, in my case, I do not own a car at all. But I like to spoil myself every now and then by taking a taxi home if I worked like really hard on that day. Like after a full day of dancing, I just want to like spoil myself by like taking a taxi, which is like 10 euros. And this is worth it for me because it is like this tiny piece of luxury that really makes me happy and also brings me a lot of comfort. Not to mention, just with 10 euros, I feel totally spoiled and I feel like a princess because I can just be driven around, But actually, if you think about it, it's so much cheaper than to own a car, pay gas, pay insurance, and pay for a garage, right? But anyways, this is just an example where I think it's really important to prioritize spending on genuine self-care and things that will just make you happy rather than materialistic stuff that you buy just to impress people that you don't even really care about. Principle 6, spend money on small things rather than big things. So research shows that frequent small pleasures contribute more to overall happiness than large, infrequent purchases. So this basically means that, you should be indulging in everyday luxuries and small treats more often that bring joy, like simple things like going to a nice cafe every now and then, rather than, blasting all of your money on an expensive sports car or like dream vacations. And this is because consistent moments of happiness contribute more to overall well-being than occasional grand experiences. Principle 7, spend money on charity. Lots of research show that helping others instead of yourself is really important for a person's overall sense of happiness and well-being. So basically, by redirecting just 5 or even 10% of your income towards, charitable causes, people experience like a deeper sense of purpose and satisfaction. And I've definitely seen this actually like with my current job when I interact with private donors. Like these people like who can afford to support the arts, they tell me that they want to spend their money on donations not only because they want to contribute to like a greater cause and support the arts, preserve the arts, but because it also makes them happy. It gives them this overall sense of well-being and purpose. And by the way, contrary to some people's belief, not all rich people are bad people. They're not evil people. I've seen them, I've interacted with them. Usually they're like really polite and also well-mannered people. So once you've reached that level of wealth, consider charity because it can help with your overall happiness. Alright you guys, these were the 7 things that you should be spending money on according to different research and also some of the experiences that I've had. I hope this video was insightful, and in part 2 of this video we will be discussing pragmatic and basic rules for personal finance that you should adopt so that you can have a healthier relationship with money. Thank you so much for watching until the end, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye!